Well guys, I've gotten several emails over the last couple of days from people asking about my garden. They want to see the garden. And it seems like that is a popular video among some subscribers. They don't usually get a whole lot of views, these type videos don't, but it's not always about views. Sometimes it's about trying to give your subscribers, what they want to see. And I've gotten several emails, like I said, from people wanting to see the garden. So I'll turn the camera around here and take a look at this garden here and see what you all think about it. I don't have a huge garden this year. I have 6 raised beds. They're 8 foot by 4 foot wide, 6 raised beds. And they're doing actually pretty good. So let's take a look. All right, guys, this is, of course, squash, crookneck squash. You can see it is definitely doing really, really well. You can see here we're starting to get some action, like a little squash over there coming. I actually got some of these today and fried these up with some beans and actually some fried potatoes. Over here is some more crookneck squash. You can see they're not hardly as big as those over there because I actually planted those there about 2 weeks before these. So these has to have a little more time, to catch up. But you can see they're looking pretty good actually, and you can grow a whole lot of squash with 12 plants, what I have here is 12 plants. I usually plant, I saw this weed over here, I'm gonna get that weed out of here before I forget about it. I actually plant 6 squash to each one of these beds. You can see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Same thing over there, so 6 to each one of these sized beds. Here is the tomatoes. You can see they're doing really, really good. I have to go through and clip like these right here off. I haven't done that yet because these don't produce anything. And it helps to make the plant, produce a better crop if you take those off, those suckers. These cages are put here to help hold the tomato plant up because they will get, all the way up to here when they get full grown and take all this space up in here. And I'm starting to have, a few small tomato plants. There's another weed that I forgot I didn't get. I've been trying to get the weeds out of here today. Right there's a potato plant that was actually came upon its own because last year I planted potatoes in this bed. I don't like to plant the same thing 2 times 2 years straight. So I try to switch everything out. And last year this had potatoes in it. So this one came up here, so I just let it go ahead and grow as it came upon its own. You can see here I have birds that are actually on this right here roosting at night. That's what that is right there. However, they don't really hurt the plants. As far as right now, I wouldn't want to eat the tomatoes that they pooped on until I gave those a really good cleaning, obviously. But they'll actually help keep the bugs off of the plants. So it kind of works together as a good ecosystem to help with the bugs. Over here is peppers. They aren't doing all that great, actually. Doing okay, but not really all that great. You can see here I have a sweet pepper right here. And I will eat that probably tomorrow. But you can see they aren't doing all that great, but they usually do start out kind of slow. And then they get like a growth spurt, it seems, and then they get pretty good size, usually. Over here we have some more tomato plants. And these right here are, I think these are the cherry tomatoes. Yeah, right here, the cherry tomatoes. I put a thing down here to see. You gotta keep up with it. Super sweet cherry tomato. And these over here are 2 more peppers, right here actually. And here's 2 more tomato plants. And these are a more stocky breed of tomato plants. And these right here, you can see, here is the Bonnie Original, our favorite tomato. These are more cherry tomatoes, and I think they're cherry tomatoes anyway. No, these are regular sized tomatoes actually. It's easy to get confused because all tomato plants actually look alike, or pretty close when you're looking at these. Over here is beans, and this are bush beans. They vine some, as you can see. They don't really vine like the pole beans do. These are actually bush beans, and I didn't even plant these this year. I actually planted beans in this. There's another weed right there I forgot to get out. Anyway, I'll make this video and I'll get the weed out of there. These right here, I planted this bed last year with bush beans, and then I got all the other beds through here planted. This was the last bed, and I was trying to decide what to put in this one. And I was thinking about putting bush beans in this one again. Usually I don't do that, but beans seem to do pretty good in the same bed for a couple of 3 years, actually, for some reason. Whereas, you know, squash really does it for some reason. Tomatoes can, but I've had kind of different results by planting those in the same bed over the years, so I try to rotate those out in the different raised beds. But these here came up on their own. I noticed I was going to plant this, and I noticed one day when I was trying to figure out, looking at the other beds over here, I noticed that these were already coming up on their own. So these self-seeded and are coming up, you know, came up on their own. So we'll see how well, you know, they produce. Hopefully they do okay. Like I said, they vine some, as you can see here, but they don't grow nearly as long up the vines and stuff as the bush beans. But anyways, guys, that's a look at the garden. My neighbor over there is mowing. I had someone see that owl about 3 years ago, and they accused me of being a member of the Bohemian Grove because I had an owl out here like that right there. And that's more for decoration than anything. It's supposed to, you know, scare off crows and things and birds, but you can see they've already been pooping on the plants. They don't care about this right here at all. It doesn't work. So it's more just for, you know, decoration on the garden. I actually bought this probably 12 years ago. You can see it's starting to have some little issues up here, but the head bobs around when the wind blows. Those tomatoes are looking really, really, really stocky and really, really good. My neighbor is mowing over there. You can't really see his house over there, as you can see here. You can't really see where his house is at, but his yard comes quite a ways over here towards my property line. It's actually his property line on the other side. You can hear that mowing. Hope it doesn't mess the audio up too bad. I'm using the DJI Action 4 camera right now. Usually I use for vlogging the DJI Osmo Pocket 3. That's what I normally use. My main camera for, you know, like I'm standing in front of the camera making a video, that is the Sony ZV-1 Mark II. But I really do like the Sony ZV-1 Mark II camera for a main camera, and I like these Action 4s for, you know, action camera, and the Pocket 3 for a vlogging camera. Anyways, guys, hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, give the video a thumbs up, and don't forget to subscribe. And you know, I'm sure someone will go in the comments, do you plan on living on that garden? You can't do that for a year. I don't plan on it. This is supplemental. This is to help, you know, get fresh produce into the house. I don't expect this to be enough to feed me, you know, all winter. But someone definitely go there and comment. Every time I make one of these videos, somebody comments, "You're so silly. You're so silly. This isn't going to feed you. You think you're going to live on that when the apocalypse comes, when the EMP strike happens?" Blah, 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 blah. So many times I hear the same comments over and over and over again that it's kind of ridiculous, actually. You make a video and they add things to it. They take it way out of context, or they will just make stuff up to put in the comments that wasn't even said, that wasn't implied, nothing like that at all. But people always do that here on YouTube. I think they like to be typing just to hear their fingers tapping the keyboard, apparently. Anyways, talk to you guys in the next video. Take care and good night.